Thank you very much, and very good afternoon to all of you. Very delighted to have two of my best friends, the largest developers, amongst the largest developers in India. Also very, very private, I must say, is that very difficult to get both Jitu on my left and Atul on my right to get up onto the stage. So guys, a big round of applause to both of them to have agreed to come in here. As I said, as you know, they're very private and difficult to be able to get them to speak publicly. We have 35 minutes. We're going to roll on. I have some very exciting, very interesting questions to each Atul and to Jitu. I'm going to roll on, Jitu, with you first. The first question that I have is, are hotels a good opportunity for developers to invest in, given the high investment and the long gestation versus residential?
No, of course, without any doubt, residential is, and when you're asking me this question, the country is going through this residential boom, and residential always is a lesser investment, and in cash your returns much faster. But I think in the time to come, the hotel industry has kind of changed in India. I mean, but still, the interest rate's so high and high equity requirement. And I think it's going to take a little while. But I always say there is some science, behind the hotel industry, which once you learn and build hotels, room costs in certain areas, I'm sure you can make. But honestly, I'm still grappling over it. And, and I think a lot of the brands need to put in a lot of effort to market India. And that's actually where, things will change, because I think they need to do something innovative in India. Because otherwise, where else you get such cheap rooms, sometimes you really feel that the amount of money you spend, the kind of room rate you're getting, the last, I think, year or so has been different,
Jitu, many of the hotels that you have are in these integrated sort of office parks, commercial parks. How has the experience been of having hotels in these integrated parks versus standalone hotels?
So I think, the business park story started 24 years back when we built Embassy Golf Links. And that time, being a youngster, always you want to do all these fancy things which are sometimes just for glamour. And I said, why not do a hotel into the business park, and people can go to the hotel and stay close by. But that turned out as a good foresight looking forward, because 83% of the occupancy was from the park owners. So which actually made me realize that if I built so much square footage office, it could absorb so many rooms. And that's how the math started. And basically, it's like a residential. You build a clubhouse, a swimming pool. We decided to get into the hotel industry, but go with professional people to manage it and focus more on what I call making these dabba glass buildings, and renting them out to GCC companies or software companies. And I think then we realized, so now we've been building, we're doing it, and it's worked quite successfully. I think we still build lesser rooms than we can on these parks, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. So since we're more a commercial or residential developer.
Jitu, you're amongst the few people that I know who are as international as you get on the real estate development side. My question to you is, have you ever thought of opening hotels outside India?
One time when I bought the Four Seasons, I met On Ben Sen, the Chinese hotelier. I had met him when I was 24 years old once to get the rights for Hard Rock and Planet Hollywood, because I was very keen to get it. And he actually told me that he wouldn't want to do business with me. I was too young at that point in time. And then I went to meet him with my 23-year-old son one day. And then he said that instead of building hotels in India, if you build hotels outside, the cost of money is much cheaper. It's much more forgiving. And then why don't you partner me instead of trying to sell me a hotel? So there was some method in his madness. So maybe someday I will.
Atul, I'm going to come to you before I go back to Jitu. Atul, you've largely been on Pune. I know you've done Maldives as well. Why only Pune? Why that concentration of having all your hotels in Pune?
I would say, why not? So basically, my hotel venturing into hotel business was not hotel-focused business. I was into commercial IT park business, and hotel was, as Jitu rightly said, it was an amenity for our industry. So we started building hotels one after another as we kept growing the office market. And we ended up making about 8 hotels with 1,400 keys. And after that, we started, then when it became a serious business as a hotel business, now we are venturing out nationally also and internationally also.
And internationally, how's the experience with the Maldives been?
Very difficult in Maldives because you're making a hotel in the mid-sea. But being a construction background person, we could still complete it on time and much lesser than what we had expected. And we made about a 200 key hotel and started it within 3.5 years.
Atul, also, it has been very exciting to see the journey of Ventive, which is the company that you've just got listed on the hotel side. It has been really interesting that you formed the company in August and got it listed in December. I mean, through that journey, forming the company in August and listing it in December, close to $1.5 billion listing. So I have 2 questions to you on that. First is that, is this perhaps the shortest IPO on the hospitality side that we have seen in terms of its duration? And second is, had you been delayed by a couple of weeks, do you think that the result would have been different?
Yeah, that is true that we listed in a very short time. From our board decision of going public, it just took me about less than 6 months. So between me and Blackstone, we merged all our hotels together. So we needed one vehicle, which was common, and where we merged it. So it was fast, but we did it at the right time, I guess, now.
And had been delayed by a couple of weeks, you think the results would have been different?
Maybe would have taken a little bit longer time. Or we would have waited for the right valuation.
And Atul, next growth area that you believe on the hospitality in terms of the geography?
See, India is a very undersupply market. In every sector there is growth, whether you do leisure, whether you do urban, or whether you do the new spiritual tourism where we are just venturing out. So we are starting our first 2 hotels in Varanasi and Chardham. But we have taken that course to increase our footprint and portfolio into that sector because there is not too many branded people or high quality hotels. But the story about growth is in all sectors in India because India is a very undersupply market. The problem in India is not that. The problem is India is the hotels are being sold very cheaply, the room nights. It's still a sub-$100 market. So if the pricing goes up, the people will invest more into hotels. It has to make more sense. And I don't know why all the big brands like Marriott and Hilton's and all, why they sell India so cheap. So where the hotel, to the owners, the hotels are unviable. They cannot even recover their cost over 12 years.
I think it's a very important point is because there is a fair amount of investment that is going into these hotels, yet the hotel room rates are very economical. And from owner's perspective, then it becomes very difficult to do the math, particularly when you compare it with other asset classes. Jitu, coming back to you, the Indian wedding industry, is very, very large. $50 billion is where the market is. If I was to ask you a question that you were given a choice to build India's ultimate wedding hotel, where would you build?
And without any doubt, in Delhi.
Not Rajasthan?
No, I mean, Rajasthan, because these kind of fancy hotels are available, people are going there. But just look at it, when somebody invites you to a wedding, irrespective where it is, you fly and you get inside that property and you get out of the property.
Actually,
That's all you do. But in Delhi is one place where people spend a lot of money and a lot of money is being spent. So maybe people might not occupy that many rooms, but the banquet and the food, brings in a lot of money during weddings. But and the rooms per se, also Delhi is a good market for hotels. I mean, it's in spite of whatever aerocity is. I mean, it's doing all the hotels are doing well. So I think because replicating, hotels in Rajasthan like the Oberois have built, and it's very difficult today to build that kind of put in that kind of capital and recover it. I don't think so, but
And not even
and
Bombay.
even Bombay, but even Bangalore is because you see Golf Shire, JW Marriott at Golf Shire has become like a destination. And like yesterday, I was just chatting with Raghu, who looks after a hotel vertical, and saying that we have to have development, and why don't we just build something like that, overlooking, we have a nice lake and everything, and just purely from the wedding standpoint of view. And Bangalore has good weather all year round, so you can do a lot of outdoor functions and stuff like that. So, it could be Bangalore's toss-up, and it's our backyard anyway. But yeah, I think it's that thought coming to your conference has been in my mind.
Jitu, there has been sort of surge in alternative hospitality when it comes to co-living branded residences. Do you think that this is going to be complementary or competing with the traditional hospitality?
I think it's complementary because it's an area where we are actually more managing of other people in Olive, and we're not building hotels ourselves. So I think we can bring professional management into these hotels which were run by families, and then probably the next generation either is interested, not interested. The design element is there. So I think it's complementary to us in lots of ways, and maybe someday that will lead us to build our own management company, and I might not need any of these brands to give my hotels to.
And that's the question, Atul, I also want to ask you is there a thought to build your own management company and not bring the brands?
No, I don't think so. At least we want to be owners and focus on that building and not to be focused in the management, because I feel that's a different ball game altogether. At least we are not built for that.
And Atul, your preference for growth is going to be doing greenfield, brownfield, or ready assets? Because one of the things that we are discovering is that it's very difficult to buy ready assets. The owners at this moment in time, those who are running those assets, are making money in their other businesses if they are on the real estate side or otherwise, and the hotels itself are making money. So difficult to be able to get growth from acquisition of running hotels. So what is your thought on this?
No, I feel earlier, this was the era of about last one decade where people were making hotels for pride and not for business. But after running the hotel for some time, when a single owner hotelier, then he sees he's not even recovered his cost. The yield to cost in hotel industries in India is about 8 to 9%. Whereas your interest rate is from 10 to 12%. How can you ever get your money out? It takes 10 to 12 years to get your capital out. So I feel there will be a big change, the mindset, when the pride goes away and when they hit the real side of the business, they will sell the hotels. Either you are a large hotelier, the single owner hotel will start fading out. This is my conviction.
Your thought, Jitu, on this?
Indian real estate investor has always defied human logic. People don't they'll take 4% return, but the attachment to property is so much. I can see the change coming, new generation, but most everybody just are so attached to everything they have, especially real estate,
One question that I'm going to put you both on the spot is hospitality chain that you like the best? I know it's a very difficult question to ask both of you and you both have love for these international hospitality chains, but one hospitality chain that you like the best?
Oberoi.
Oberoi.
For me, I'm neutral. I like all.
If I can ask you a little bit of a sort of non-real estate, Jitu, given that I've got you and Atul, and non-hospitality, I don't get this opportunity often enough. I will open it up to the floor as well. to ask questions to Jitu and to Atul. Jitu, first one. If you had to start your career all over again in an industry other than the real estate, what would you have chosen?
I would definitely be a banker.
Why is that?
I mean, it's numbers which I love. I thrive on deal making and numbers, but I think the bankers make the most money and it's the most exciting business there. So I mean, I was hoping out of 3 of my sons, I would make one of them a banker, but now the third one is just coming. So let's see.
What is the best piece of business advice that you have ever received?
Oh, I had a Gujarati mentor, Anand Bhai, who always told me that, in real estate, I don't know if you've seen, horses have these blinders, when a horse is too mischievous, they put these blinders on his eyes. He says, in real estate, you should just put blinders and do your business, mind your own business, look at what you want to see and do what you want to do.
Very nice. Atul, if you could host a dinner with any 3 leaders across the world, who would they be?
Even stars also?
Anyone, not business leaders necessarily, any leaders.
Okay, then I would like to meet Amitabh Bachchan once.
Amitabh Bachchan, no, my
I would
God.
like to host him.
And the other 2?
You said only one, no?
No, 3. 3.
Donald Trump.
Very true, I agree.
And third one would be you. At least I will get all the information of the world.
It'll be you.
He's made a great company out from nowhere.
What's one life lesson that real estate has taught you?
To be patient, to listen more and talk less.
My God, guys, look at it. To be patient, listen, and talk less. I think that is big, big, big thing. If you had to swap industries for a year, which sector would you want to be in?
I'll be a chef.
Nice, nice. Why is that?
Because that's what I like. Maybe I'll make my customer smile.
Jitu, what's harder, raising capital or finding the perfect land parcel?
I'm born in India, raising capital for sure.
And finally, Jitu, what is the best piece of business advice that you've ever received?
I think, it's the best piece of business advice I've so far received is that just hang in there and, and I'd say it in a cruder way that come to the shop in the morning, stay there all day, and go back home in the evening. All the fruits will come on its own.
Beautiful, beautiful. Completely agree with that is that, open the shop at 9 a.m., stand in there. Many years ago, I had heard this is the longer you live, the stronger you become. So, if you are at the shop every day morning, open the shutter at 9 a.m., be there at 7, 8 o'clock in the evening, you are bound to succeed. Last couple of questions, Atul. What is one personal trait that has helped you the most in your business?
So I had one mentor. I got from real estate broking to a developer. He taught me from my first project. He says the most important thing is how you position yourself. How you position yourself in the market because it's your first project. How you make yourself arrive. And maybe I'll never forget that lesson. And that's how Panchshil became Panchshil because from the first project, we positioned ourselves as the topmost product developer.
Wow, wow. How you position yourself right from the beginning itself. And finally, what's the most understated city for real estate investment in India?
Understated?
Understated.
Pune.
I should have put in this asterisk other than Pune.
Other than Pune, I've not ventured, but maybe New Bombay now.
Which I agree.
Yeah,
That,
New Bombay.
yeah, given the infrastructure, given the new airport, that is an understated city that'll be. Finally, to both of you, in terms of the asset classes, you've got residential, commercial, industrial, stroke, data centers now. We read in the papers, there's a huge amount of investment Atul you're making into that is, and hospitality. How would you rank these, four sectors in order of your preference of growth and investment?
In my case, I would presently, for the next 20 years, would look at commercial, residential, and then hotels. Warehousing and data center, I don't think we're too much, embassy is too much of a fan. It needs cheap sovereign money and there's too much investment. But I think these three, because commercial, you can monetize very quickly. Instead of selling 3,000 apartments all the time, you can just sell a couple of million square feet to somebody to raise capital, which is there. So I think in that, and our strength honestly lies with commercial a lot. So for the scale we've built so far, it's easy for us to see the growth with our tenants. So that's why so much, but it's residential and like the hotel I said, I keep saying every time, it's a science we're learning. When someday we learn it, then maybe it might be
change. Yeah. But at this moment in time, you're saying it's commercial, residential, and then the hospitality. Atul, for you?
For me, commercial, hospitality, and now we are venturing into data center, which I still don't know the exit, but it looks good on paper.
And residential comes even later than that, is it?
Residential, no. Residential is more like a trading game. You build, you sell, you make quick money, but it's not long term.
Which is interesting, huh, guys? Look at it, that it is commercial at number one, and number two for Atul, it is hospitality coming on. And for Jitu, it is number three, and then data center and residential. So, it is interesting to see is, I would have thought instinctively it will be residential and then commercial and then hospitality, but both of them have said is commercial, given the quality of the asset, given the ability to be able to monetize in large volume commercial, and given where India is in terms of the commercial demand at this moment in time, and hopefully over the next 3 to 5 years, that sector does continue to remain very strong, which is great from a hospitality perspective, because if there are going to be more employment and more office buildings that are going to be put together, that means there are going to be more hotels, and more jobs created means that there is going to be more spend that'll be done. Guys, we got about 10 odd minutes. It is a rare opportunity to have both these stalwarts here. I am going to open the floor for any questions that anyone has. Otherwise, I'll continue with my questions. But this is an opportunity for you to be able to ask. Do raise your hand. We have a few mics that are going on, and do introduce yourself if there is any specific question to either Jitu or to Atul, please.
Good evening to all of them at the panel. I'm from New Green. Fortunately, I've been associated with both Embassy and Panchshil. You have been very successful commercial developers. What prompted you basically to diversify into the hospitality segment as such? Was that the pride, or was that something, a business model or something?
No. So I think I mentioned earlier that hotels is like a captive use for the people who visit the park and come outside. So it's like a safer business, and I think it takes your rents of your parks also much higher, because if companies know you're building a hotel, in fact, we won to build a JP Morgan corporate park contract more because we were building a hotel. And that started with 1.1 million. Now we have roughly a 3 million square feet relationship with them. So it's more like a captive audience from that. Definitely, okay, in our case, it's not ego. I know a lot of hotels are built for egos and stuff like that. So I know it's an open audience, but we have so many hotels, and if the price is good, it's for sale.
Atul, for you?
Same thing. It was never focused to build, to get into hotel as a business. It was more of an amenity for our business park. So it started from there. And if you see from the commercial portfolio point of view, our hotel percentage to the commercial office is not even 5%. So we built very large IT parks, and in that we put up a 200-room hotel or 300-room hotel to service the IT park.
Great. They're at the back, and then Mandeep here in the front.
Yes, hi, this is Vaibhav Jatia from Rhythm Hospitality. Both of you all are leading such large real estate companies. Real estate, such a long gestation project, so is hospitality. And decision of doing a particular project, there's so much of gut feel that goes behind it. Of course, numbers, data, all of that is important. I would like to get your perspectives both, and I know these are family businesses and family members are involved. How does one deal in a family business setting to make critical decisions for real estate hospitality investments, given the long gestation and given how subjective the asset classes actually are, and how do you marry all family members' viewpoints and come at a cohesive decision?
I think the question that Vaibhav is asking is that given that there are choices on a particular parcel of land that you can develop either a hotel or an office or a residential, and if you have a family which has got many members, how do you come to a decision that what asset class should be developed there?
It's very simple. Just calculate your yield on cost and do that business.
Yield on cost and do that business. Jitu?
Yeah, I think we have never faced that problem because most of our hospitality is in our business parks, which is a must. And but I think once you're in a business family and if members understand the business, then it shouldn't be such a problem. But if the members don't understand the business, then the family won't be together for soon. So it's better.
I think
that's the only difference I can say. So otherwise, in a family business, very important that somebody recognizes somebody as a leader. And
good point. Good point. Vaibhav, the trouble may be more deeper than. Mandeep.
Mandeep Lamba from HVS ANAROCK. Can you see me? I know from the stage it's often difficult to. I just wanted to, touch upon something that you said about yields on hotels not being as good as you would like them to be, perhaps. But I just wanted to ask from a perspective that we've seen a significant change over the last 3 years, with tariffs really going up. We've seen more than 35% in some places, in some of the cities that you operate, maybe 40% increase in ADRs. And we also saw yesterday in the presentation made by Hotstats that operating profits have gone up by 7 percentage points, taking operating profit almost touching 50%. Does this change your opinion to some extent? Is this sector becoming a little more favorable than perhaps it used to be? And given that we think that this is going to be a constant sort of growth pattern, given the undersupply of hotel rooms in the country?
See, what has happened now, the rates have gone up in certain cities, but the rupee has taken a beating against dollar. Pan-India, we are sub-$100 market. The construction cost, the real estate cost, the wages, the electricity, everything has gone up. And if you see relatively, any business, if you do about anywhere between 10% yield on cost, hospitality is not even 5-6% yield on cost. So it's more of a passion business, or you are just parking your money. But if someone has to do it as a business where you are buying the land at the market rate and putting the construction cost, I doubt he can ever even get his capital out.
But that's why, Mandeep, I mean, we decided at Olive to tie up with Hilton to do Spark by Hilton. So these are the there are different models which are more yield to cost wise profitable. in the country. And depending on, the luxury market, because land prices in, Bombay, Bangalore, in such locations are quite high. But I think we see a lot in, working with Hilton on the Spark by Hilton, that the yield on cost can be very good if the room rates and the costs are certain. So it's like some time back, it's a science which you need to capture. And I have a Turkish gentleman who looks after this company, had to come to Turkey here to tell me that. But nevertheless, I think it's a good insight. And I don't know if you've seen the room outside. It's very efficiently built and very low cost. So I think these kind of projects are there, which are profitable and owners would make good money. That's it.
Please.
See, even according to me, in the present scenario, even if the hoteliers, if they increase the rate by 40 to 50%, the occupancy will not go down.
I thought occupancy will
Nothing
go down
will go down
dramatically.
because people, when they travel, if they have work in that city, they need to stay in that city. It is not because your hotel rates are cheaper or higher, they will change of their mind to stay in that city. But the hotel sold very cheaply in India, and I feel that will change. It has to change at some point of time, and that's where it will make more sense to make hotels by buying the land and not by subsidizing a hotel by some other business.
Actually, it's a
like we
beautiful
people have
point.
done, we people have always subsidized the
From
hotel
other asset
from
classes.
other asset class.
Zubair, it is honestly a very, very good feedback to say is, look, it is getting subsidized by other asset classes, or it is being subsidized by some of the other businesses, putting in money into the hotel. If the yield on cost by increasing the room rate can improve this yield on cost, on the other hand, making sure that the occupancy doesn't really, drop as much as, then, maybe the math on its own 2 feet may start to stack up. And, it's also important to understand from the developer's perspective, because they are the largest contributors of the hotel rooms today and going forward. Can we take one question from there? Yeah.
Just one question. Do the hotels which markets itself predominantly as wedding and or conference destination, does it actually spoil the overall experience of either a tourist or a business travel?
I think it's a very interesting question is that if the hotels are classified either as wedding hotel or conferences hotel, does it spoil the experience of the other tourists who are coming into that hotel?
I think to some extent, obviously it does. There was a point Oberoi's never used to allow weddings in their hotels. But it depends on how you design the hotel, how's the entry, exit. It doesn't bother. It's a lot goes it. But then again, that some hotels are built for weddings and conferences. So then the other guests are actually a small percentage, which are, by the way, there. So I think this is how you build in what class you build it. I think all hotels are all about how you do the math and what you build about. And hold on to your room rates, like Atul mentioned also that, the room rates, if you ask the operator that you don't care about the occupancy, but you want to hold on to the room rate, and then eventually it comes back. And then there are owners who are in financial difficulties who allow the operator to drop the rate and say, I want more occupancy. And then it takes a long time to come back again. So I think these are things, at least this is what we've learned from our experience. And holding the room rate, it helps you to keep the room rate high. And that's why actually most of our properties have not dipped too much below, because we've maybe, occupancy at times might be lower, but I find it comes back to that extent. So, and how much equity you put in, how much debt you take in, it's all like a different ballgame completely,
Can we take one last question?
We've talked about profitability, ROI. What about the environmental aspect of a hotel? A hotel is one of the largest guzzlers of energy and all environmental issues. How much attention do hotel owners pay when they design a hotel? Because once you've designed it, there's very little that you can do except just pay for and nobody minds paying for the utility, but how many hotel owners really care about the efficiency of energy and ongoing, what are the steps that they take to ensure that you are in touch with the latest technology? And do they really, really care for the environment, or is it superficial and it's all done for the ratings?
Interesting.
We build hotels as per the brand standards of the operator. And coming to your question, all hotels are being built and they're very eco-friendly, environment-friendly. Like all our hotels are running on 65% green energy. We have all the STPs. We use the same water for air conditioning. In fact, hotels are more environment-friendly than any other asset class in construction industry.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's actually, it's a myth that hotels abuse energy, but it's actually, they're very conscious of all of this. So I think, and then I think guests like you who are staying in the hotel should also become conscious and, you know, use the towels more times than put it for the wash.
And don't change the bed sheets every day.
Great, guys. Thank you very much. Thanks, Atul.
you.
Thanks, Jitu. Big round of applause to our panelists.
Thank you, Anuj.